First of all, I want to clarify that all Colombians are no narcos. We don't like spicy food, and no, Colombia is not in the U.S. Today, I have the pleasure to introduce you about Colombia from a Colombian and talk to you about some of the things like stereotypes, some of the food and the music they will listen to, and also where it's located. I'm going to share it with you about a story that happened to me over at Kern. And it was the first day that I came into Kern, I didn't speak any English. And this guy, I think some of you know Brandon Lopez, he came up to me and he said, "You're Colombian, right?" And I was like, he was speaking in English. He was like, "You're Colombian, right?" And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about," but I was speaking in Spanish. And he's like, "You have some of that blanca." Blanca and blanco means white. So he did this gesture, and I thought, man, this guy thinking I have drugs on me. And I was like, no, I do not speak English. I told him in Spanish, and he was like, "Oh, you speak Spanish, right?" And I was like, "Sí, yo hablo español." Now I know how you guys feel about it, and I'm gonna talk to you about some of the stereotypes that Colombians don't like to hear. Things like this, people think that we live in really bad conditions, and that's not true. We also have really nice places where we live. People think that the only things that we produce is cocaine, and that's a lie. We are one of the main exporters of bananas and coffee, and a lot of fruits also. People think that we are gang members or that we like to kill people for a living and things like that, and that is also not true. People think that when we party, we like to do drugs, and that's a lie. We like to have fun. Things like dances and things like that are one of the main things that we do at the parties. Another thing is like people think that we're only good at soccer, and that's also a really big lie. People think that we all speak the same, and also they think that we all like spicy food. Well, about the football thing, it's a lie. We are really good at things like BMX. We are good at powerlifting, gymnastics, biking, and we're also good at track and field, just to name a few. We do not all speak the same. It depends on the region that you're from. It changes the accent that you have. Example, my accent is called the Paisa, which is the capital of Colombia. About the spicy food, that's a lie. I personally don't like spicy food, and I think the only Latinos that like spicy food and everything are probably Mexicans. About the food part, it changes based on your region. For example, the Caribbean coast and the Pacific coast, they like to eat a lot of fish and seafood. And the Central Andes, which is where I'm from, we like to eat more things like bayuna, which is my favorite plate, which is made of pork. I don't like pork, but it can be changed for chicken. It includes rice, a slice of tomatoes, onions, and plantain and fries. And we usually um, drink lunara with it, which is made of lulo. It's a fruit which is really good in Colombia. Another dish that is really interesting is tres leches, which is called tres leches because it has three different kinds of milk in it, which is evaporated milk, condensed milk, and heavy cream. Uh, this play, this dish is we use it a lot of for like special occasions like parties and um, birthdays and things like that. About the fruits that we use, we Colombians don't like drinking soda because other than it's really expensive in Colombia, it's really bad for you. We have a really big variety of fruits, things like we think of like we usually drinks like fruit juice like every day. We don't like drinking soda, and also it's really cheap just and easier just to buy fruit. About the music part, we like to dance salsa, which is really motion dance, and like you have to be really quick with your feet. We also like to dance bachata, which is like more slow and romantic, and it's really similar to vallenato. In the right slide, we're gonna talk about the location. Some people ask me like, where is Colombia located? And some of them think that Colombia is in the U.S., and that is not true. The United States is in top right here to the north, and Colombia is all the way in South America, which is the number and is the top country in South America. Colombia shares their neighbors is Venezuela, which is to the northeast of it, Brazil, which is more to the south, Peru, which is to the to southwest, and Ecuador, which is to the southwest too, and also Panama, which is to the northwest. Colombia has a really biodiverse, like it's a really biodiverse country, and like right here is usually really cold, and to the top of it is normally like tropical and stuff like that. We have deserts, we also have islands, and we have the rainforest of the Amazon. Colombia is named like number fourth most biodiverse country in the world because we have large kinds of types of birds, animals, plants, and things like that. And also is the number one country in having more different species of birds, which it's just around 1,800 different species. And the recap, uh, we talk about the number. Uh, okay, in the recap, we talk about the number, the food alkaline. We talk about the stereotypes. In the second slide, we talk about the food and music. And the last slide, we talk about where it's located. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope you guys learned something about Colombia.